Most of you probably know who Tommy Robinson is. It's sort of a pseudonym of a far-right activist in the UK who has largely become associated with activism on behalf of extreme types of nationalism, anti-immigration, you know, a very familiar type of figure in terms of American politics. And Tommy Robinson, despite being associated with what a lot of people call the far right, and it's kind of become the mainstream right at this point, and a lot of people assume that there's lots of anti-Semitism on the far right. Tommy Robinson has long been a very vocal supporter of Israel. He's been in and out of jail in the UK, not for particularly convincing reasons, but his liberty has been in jeopardy. He's been a figure who's been attacked and marginalized and punished in a lot of different ways. A very vulnerable figure for that reason. Once you get into that position where they're putting you in prison, going after your assets, you're vulnerable to a lot of different things, and a lot of times you want to make sure that the people who might attack you most are people who you're placating. If you're that kind of person, if you're a kind of person who, faced with threats, doesn't say, I'm going to go to war with these people, but says, oh my God, I'm afraid of these people, I better do everything I can to please them. And there's been a lot of suspicion among British Jews in particular about whether Tommy Robinson is somebody that is actually anti-Semitic. He's made comments about Jews in the past that they believe have been evidence of anti-Semitism, and to compensate for that, he has become a fanatical supporter of Israel. In one way, there is this kind of faction on the far right that believes that the ultimate evil is Islam or Muslims, and therefore see Israel as a natural ally, no matter what they think of Jews, because Israel also is at war with Muslims, and the Israelis and its supporters love to play on that strategy. That's why you see people like Geert Wilders in the Netherlands, and even Marine Le Pen, even the AfD in Germany, becoming among Israel's most stalwart supporters. That was never the case. Marine Le Pen's father, who founded that party, was widely regarded as an anti-Semite, as a Holocaust denier, as a big enemy of Israel. But the new modern right, especially because they're focused on Muslims, are very vulnerable to this idea that, oh, if you hate Muslims and we hate Muslims, you should align with Israel. And some of them do, not all but some. And Tommy Robinson is definitely one of the people, for whatever reasons, who has become one of the most extreme models of this sort of far-right figure who nonetheless worships Israel. And Tommy Robinson is in Israel, and he has spent the week in Israel. And one of the things that they're doing is sort of putting him through these re-education programs where he's constantly, every day, they give him an agenda and he has to go somewhere and be lectured to or scolded by or condescended to some Israeli. And he sits there and he's always in front of a camera. You know, they want it to be recorded and seen by the world. It's kind of like a ritual to make him just become more and more captive to, more and more submissive towards this kind of very ardent Zionist agenda. And he seems to be very happy about it. It's almost like Stockholm syndrome, like the idea that if you're held hostage long enough, you start to fall in love with and identify with your captors. It's really uncomfortable to watch. I mean, there's so many videos of him this week in Israel that are just so cringe-inducing because of the posture that he's adopted of just being this kind of person who needs to be scolded and chastised and retrained into the right way of thinking when it comes to Israel. Even though he's already very pro-Israel, it's not enough. He's not reverent enough and empathetic enough towards Jews, and he's there to learn and improve and to demonstrate it for the Israelis with whom he's been told to meet on camera. It's really quite a ritualistic hazing, and he just keeps doing it one day after the next, and as you're about to see, it's actually not working, but he keeps doing it more and more in the hopes that it will. Here's Tommy Robinson speaking with an Israeli named Fleur Hassan Nahum, and she wants to explain to him why Jews have long been nervous about him and people like him in his movement, and he's very, very understanding. Bizarrely so. Watch this.
Do you understand, though, that people may have some skepticism or even paranoia?
By the way, she's the Foreign Ministry Special Envoy, so she works with the Israeli Foreign Ministry. He's been sent to meet with her, and this is what she has to say to him.
You understand, though, that people may have some skepticism or even paranoia. I mean, you know the history of the Jewish people. It's thousands of years of discrimination. It's the BNP, it's, you know, the Cable Street riots, all of these things. Do you understand where that skepticism could come from?
I done the Holocaust Memorial Museum today. I understand it a lot better now.
You do?
After that, yeah. I understand why members of the Jewish community get so, whether it be protective, passionate, angry, upset by anti-Semitic tropes. Because things have been said before that, and I think, really? What are you talking about? Why are you getting so upset about that? But after doing the tour today, I understand a lot better from that. That in the sense of the dehumanisation, it wasn't just start murdering Jews, it was a propaganda for years.
Started with words.
To get it into a position. So I understand it better after today. That's what I come out of that museum thinking to myself, well, I get it a bit better. I understand it.
Can you believe that? So he goes to Israel and they take him to the Holocaust Museum. And he goes and they film him there. And then once he's done, he has to go sit with these women from the foreign ministry. And she's like, do you understand why so many Jews are suspicious of you and not particularly welcoming of you and your kind? And he's like, I just want to show you this body language here. It's just like the body language of chastisement. It's almost like, it's like, let me see if I can just capture this.
Street riots, all of these things. Do you understand where that skepticism?
There it is. Look at that. Look at that. That's like a 8-year-old boy called to the principal's office, knowing he's been caught doing something naughty, and the principal is a very stern woman, but like a little bit empathetic, giving him space to kind of admit his mistake and promise to be better. And he feels chastised, so he's kind of looking down. He's playing uncomfortably with his nail. He doesn't want to face his accuser directly because he feels shame about what he is and what he's done. He's kind of like looking down as a way of like escaping the direct eye contact, playing with his finger, just like showing this kind of very fragile softness. And he says like, yes, I don't understand it fully. I'm still learning, but I understand it much better now. I went to the Holocaust Museum. I understand the perspective of Jews, why they don't like me, what I need to do more of. I'm not there yet. I still have a lot to learn. That's what I'm here for in Israel to do, is to learn, to be re-educated. But I promise you, I'm definitely on my way. Here, he met with someone named Yishai Fleischer, who I believe is Israeli. He's wearing a yarmulke. He's obviously Jewish, a religious Jew. And even this picture on the screen is Tommy Robinson sitting there with his arms passively down at his side, looking straight to the camera, and Mr. Fleischer is facing him with his chair in front of him, like very aggressive posture, pointing at him, even touching his arm. And Tommy Robinson's just accepting this invasion of his personal space by somebody who's lecturing him with his finger, and even speaking very disparagingly about Tommy Robinson's society and his country. And Tommy Robinson ends up agreeing with him that the British are shit. British are scum. British are the unchosen ones. And it's the Jews and the Israeli Jews in particular, who are the ones to whom everybody owes a duty. Watch this.
The UK has got a special place in my heart because on the one hand, they really helped give birth to the Jewish state in World War I. The Balfour Declaration, the San Remo Accords, the mandate for a Jewish Palestine, the UK was at the forefront of that. And then they turned on us.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
They turned on us, man. And therefore they have a special place in hell for turning on the Jewish people. You were like doing this great thing. You were helping Israel be reborn after 2,000 years of exile, and it was, you know, it was a biblical value. It was also a defense for a UK value. But it all turned on us. Can we turn it back?
Can we turn it back?
So just the premise there seems pretty clear, which is very manifest, which is everybody has a duty to serve the agenda of Jews. And if you do so, you're going to be eternally rewarded. But if you turn on the Jews, there's a special place reserved in hell for you. It's not just hell. There's a special place for people who betray the Jews, a special place. Your duty as a human being, if you're religious, if you believe in God, is that you have to serve the Jews. And look at him sitting there smirking. I mean, look at that body language just here. I stopped it randomly here. Yishai Fleischer is looking very smug, very happy, very confident, very, very secure right at the camera. And Tommy Robinson, again, he's looking away. And the whole time, his body language is uncomfortable because he just sat there and said, your country is shit. You were doing well for a while. You were serving our agenda. You helped us create the state of Israel. But you've turned on us, and now you have a special place in hell. And he wants to know from Tommy Robinson what he can do to make sure Britain goes back to their posture that they should have, that God wants, which is serving the Jews. That's what he said. And look at Tommy Robinson. He's looking away. He's looking at the wall, looking down. The whole time, his body language is like that. Getting touched, getting pointed at and fingered. Just like getting more and more just submissive as it happens. So obviously. And then here's what Tommy Robinson says.
The British government have just turned on Israel. But when
they've been turning on us for a long time.
Yeah, but when we say they, it's the British government. So let's separate the people from the establishment. The establishment have turned. It's like when the American establishment were in power under Joe Biden. The American people didn't support that. The British public don't support what the British government have just done. If it was put to a democratic vote on whether the British public wished to recognise the state of Palestine, it would be a resounding no. It would be a resounding no. So the people haven't turned on Israel. The people haven't turned on Jews. The left-wing establishment have turned because they're appeasing their bloc vote and they're appeasing their future vote.
Please don't blame us. The people still love Israel. We love the Jews. All of us, we love it. If you asked it, okay, first of all, who elected these governments? Who elected the Labour Party? Who elected Keir Starmer? Also, the idea that the Israeli government is this left-wing anti-Israel government is one of the biggest jokes. The British supply Israel with intelligence. They do reconnaissance flights over Gaza. They provide them with weapons and money. The Labour Party cleansed itself of Israel critics because there was this manufactured smear campaign that Jeremy Corbyn, who was the Labour leader party, was some raging anti-Semite, brought in a bunch of anti-Semitism with him. And so Keir Starmer has been dutifully cleansing the Labour Party of anybody who's critical of Israel. But again, it's never enough. Somehow now Keir Starmer is the enemy of Israel, some radical leftist. Please. But, Tommy Robinson is not going to argue with anybody. He's there to be scolded. He's there to be trained. And he's just begging, please don't blame us. It's our government that was democratically elected. It's our government that has done that. Here is just all of the Israelis who are talking to him just adopt this thuggish, almost like mob-like, mobster-like posture with him. They're there just to scold him and to tell him what to do. And they're physical about it. They're not even subtle about it. Here he is talking to Amir Ohana. And the idea here is that Ohana is going to gift Tommy Robinson or show Tommy Robinson with a book that the idea is that he's never seen before. The problem is that Tommy Robinson was told what the script was and dutifully followed it, but he got caught up. He lost track of what the script was, and he went to show the book before Amir Ohana could pretend that he's giving it to him or showing it to the first time. Tommy Robinson went to pick up the book, and the look that Tommy Robinson got and the physicality that Ohana used to scold him, it's like a principal and a scolded child. Just everything about this whole scene shows the dynamic so clearly. But watch what happens. It's around 40 seconds in when Tommy Robinson does what he's not supposed to do, which is picked up the book before he's told to.
Will your leadership maintain the Judeo-Christian values and the Western way of life that Europe enjoyed for so many years and the freedoms that we share? Or will they cave in? Because when the immigrants come in small numbers, they seek to assimilate. When they come in large numbers, they seek to dominate. The question is, who's stronger? Who will win? And will the Europeans manage to unite, to stand against the forces of radicalism and extremism and fundamentalism?
Where did the Israelis get the idea that they have the right to just go around lecturing to the world about how they're supposed to run their societies, why do the Israelis believe that they're in the position to dictate to the British what their immigration policy should be, how many people they should let in, what kinds of people they should let in? Obviously, the only concern here that he has, and this is the Speaker of the Knesset, Ohana, I should have said that at the beginning, but the only concern here he has is not the well-being of the British people. I hope that's not shocking. It's not whether Britain or Europe remains a society that adheres to its white European values. I don't think the Speaker of the Knesset cares about that at all. Why would he? He's Israeli, not European. He actually might be European by ancestry, he probably is, but he's not European in his focus. What he's obviously doing is lecturing Europe about how they're allowing too many Muslims in, how they're allowing the Muslims too many freedoms. Because Muslims are Israel's enemy, and they want to dictate to Europe and to the United States, limit the freedoms of people in your country to criticize Israel, limit what we consider radicalism, don't elect Zoran Mandani, he's a critic of Israel, don't have immigration policies that allow Muslims in and allow them freedom. This is what the whole thing is. He's lecturing to Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson is supposedly a nationalist. By definition, a nationalist has pride in your country. You believe in its sovereignty. You believe in the right of the British people to decide what the British, what will happen in Britain. I mean, that's minimalistically nationalist. And yet he's there, again, looking so chastised as this much larger, taller, stronger, more domineering Israeli official in the Knesset lectures to him what the UK has to do with regard to its own policies. And he's grateful for it. All right, watch the rest of this.
80 years ago, we have lost 6 million of our people.
You have
6 million.
Okay, you just watch that.
Of our people.
Tommy Robinson goes to pick up this book that he's not supposed to know about. He's supposed to pretend to know about before he's been ordered to do so. And watch what this Speaker of the Knesset, Amir Ohana, does to correct the behavior. It's very much like if you're training a dog and the dog misbehaves, you correct it in the moment. You say, no. You make clear that they're not supposed to do that. And you obviously don't use words. You use gestures. You use physicality to do it. You don't shock your dog. You don't hit it. But you communicate in the way that dogs understand. And that's exactly what he did here. He kind of corrected the behavior immediately, but way more aggressive than I would ever do with a dog. But he really made clear physically that this is not permitted. It's not the time to pick up the book until he's told to.
6 million of our people.
You have
6 million of our people. Men, women, children, elders. We are a people that remembers. We don't forget. What you see here on my desk, this book, a very large one, a very heavy one, contains only one word. Very small, very tiny, almost invisible, only one word. And that word is Jew. It's written here 6 million times. And when you hold it and you realize that every line represents your classroom, every few lines, the whole school, every page is a village, every few pages a town, it is only then that you realize what we, the Jewish people, have lost during the Holocaust and what it is that we fight for in our one and only Jewish state in our country.
I think sometimes people have a hard time understanding why so many American politicians are so seemingly brainwashed and devoted to Israel. Obviously, part of it is the fear of the Israeli lobby for sure. They've demonstrated multiple times they can destroy your career, your reputation, they can remove you from Congress if you stray too far from the agenda. Obviously, that's part of the reason. But propaganda really works, and the Israelis are expert propagandists. If you make that pilgrimage to Israel that essentially every member of Congress is required to do multiple times, most of them come back re-educated, just like Tommy Robinson is enduring here. They come back re-educated. Thanks for watching this clip from System Update, our live show that airs every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Rumble. You can catch the full nightly shows live or view the backlog of episodes for free on our Rumble page. You can also find full episodes the morning after they air across all major podcasting platforms, including Spotify and Apple. All the information you need is linked below. We hope to see you there.